Welcome back. Tonight's story is about a blacksmith who fixed a broken sword better than it had ever been and told the man to come back when he had the coin. He came back the next week, and the week after, and the week after that, each time with something broken. By week 6, she started counting what was actually broken and what wasn't. The sword was not worth fixing. Miraketh knew this within 30 seconds of looking at it. The blade had a stress fracture running from the tip to approximately 3 inches above the fuller, which meant it had been used wrong. Not in a fight, which produced a different kind of damage, but in a specific way that suggested someone had been using a sword to do something a sword was not designed to do. Prying, possibly, or leverage. The crossguard had been repaired before badly by someone with more ambition than skill. The grip was wrapped in leather that had dried and cracked and been rewrapped over the cracks, which was the kind of thing you did when you wanted to solve the appearance of a problem, rather than the problem itself. This sword, she said, has been abused. Yes, the man said. He said it without defensiveness, which was unusual. Most people who brought in abused equipment either denied the abuse or performed embarrassment about it. This one just confirmed it as a fact. Can it be fixed? Fixed is a generous word. The blade needs to be redrawn and retempered. The crossguard needs to be replaced. The grip. She looked at the grip. Start over. How much? She told him. He looked at the sword, then at her. That's more than it's worth, he said. Yes, she said. Can you fix it for less? I can fix it for the price I named, or I cannot fix it, she said. The price is the price because the work is the work. He looked at the sword again. He appeared to be doing arithmetic. He had the look of a man who had been doing arithmetic for a while and was not satisfied with the results. I can't pay that right now, he said. Then come back when you can. I need a working sword, he said. I know, she said. Most people who bring me broken swords do. He looked at her. He was mid-30s, she estimated. Brown hair, a scar at his jaw that had healed wrong, the kind of build that came from actual work rather than training for work. His hands had calluses in the right places for someone who used a sword regularly. His coat was good quality but old, the kind of coat that had been well made and then worn hard for several years. Take it, she said. He blinked. What? Take the sword. I'll fix it. Come back when you have the coin. He looked at the sword, at her, at the sword again. I don't know when that will be. I know, she said. Come back when you have it. The sword will be ready. Why? He stopped. Started again. Why would you do that? She had already turned back to her forge. Because I said I would. Take the claim token from the hook by the door. She heard him take the token. She heard the door. She didn't examine her reasoning too closely. The sword needed fixing. She could fix it. Those 2 facts were sufficient. She went back to the work that was waiting. His name was Cale Voss. She learned this when he came back 11 days later to check on the sword, which was not ready yet because it had required more work than she had initially estimated, and she had other commissions. He told her his name the way he said most things, directly, without preamble, as though names were information, and information was useful. It'll be another week, she said. Right, he said. He looked at the forge, the tools arranged on the wall, the work in progress on the anvil. He looked at these things the way she looked at things, with attention, not decoration. What else are you working on? Not your business, she said. Fair, he said. He looked at the work in progress on the anvil, which was a set of hinges for the mill owner. Those are hinges. Yes. The thickness on the left one is different from the right. She looked at the hinges. She looked at him. It's intentional, she said. The mill wheel is uneven. The load distribution compensates, he said. Right. He stopped. Sorry. I'll come back next week. The coin, she said. Have it? I will, he said, and left. She looked at the hinges. She looked at the door. She went back to work. The sword was ready in 12 days. She had done more work on it than she had planned, which was a habit she had when the work was interesting. The blade had been redrawn and retempered correctly, which had required taking it further back than she had initially thought and starting the taper again from scratch. The crossguard was new iron, properly fitted. The grip was wrapped in cured leather over a new core, which would last. It was a better sword than it had been when it was new. He came back on a Thursday's day with the coin exact, which she noticed because most people rounded or asked for change. He counted it out on the counter and looked at the sword. "You did more than we discussed," he said. "The work required it," she said. "The price should be." "The price is the price I named," she said. "I named it. I keep to it." He looked at the sword. He picked it up with the ease of someone who had been using swords for a long time, checked the balance, moved it through a short testing arc. His expression did not change much, but something in his shoulders settled. "It's better," he said. "Yes, significantly better." "Yes." He set it down. He looked at her. "Why did you do the extra work?" "Because the work required it," she said again. "That's not an answer," he said. "It's the only one I have," she said. He picked up the sword, sheathed it, and stood for a moment. "Thank you," he said. It was said the way he said most things, directly, without performance, as though thank you was information. "Come back if it needs anything," she said, which was the standard thing she said to everyone. "I will," he said, which was not the standard response. She went back to work. He came back the following Thursday, not with coin, with a buckle. It was a buckle from a sword belt, the kind of buckle that attached the scabbard to the strap. It had sheared at the pin, which was a common failure point, and had been repaired with a piece of wire that was entirely the wrong solution, and had subsequently failed in a different place. "The buckle," he said, setting it on the counter. She picked it up. She looked at the wire repair. She set it down. "You did this yourself," she said. "Yes," he said, "with wire." "I know," he said. "It was a field repair." "You were in a field." "I was away from a forge." She looked at him. He looked back with the steady attention he gave everything. She picked up the buckle again, examined where the pin had sheared, the structure of the failure. "I can make a new buckle," she said. "The pin needs to be a different gauge. This one was too thin for the weight of the scabbard." "How much?" she told him. He paid it without negotiating, which she noted. She made the buckle while he waited, which she did not usually do for small commissions, but did this time because the forge was already hot and the work was quick. He watched her work with the focused attention of someone who was actually watching, rather than just standing nearby. "You're memorizing the process," she said without turning around. "I'm watching," he said. "There's a difference." A pause. "No," he said. "I suppose there isn't." She finished the buckle. She handed it to him. He fitted it to the strap on the spot, checked the pin movement, attached the scabbard. "Good," he said. He paid. He left. She looked at the space where he had been standing. She went back to work. He came back the following Thursday with a knife. The knife was not broken. She could see this immediately. The blade was sound. The edge was acceptable. The handle was intact. She picked it up and turned it over and looked at him. "The knife is fine," she said. "The edge," he said. "Is acceptable," she said. "It's pulling left." She ran her thumb along the edge, feeling the geometry of it. He was correct. The edge had been sharpened at a slightly inconsistent angle, probably over a long time by someone who favored one hand and didn't compensate. The pull was subtle. She would not have noticed it without running her thumb along it. "How long have you been using this?" she said. 6 years, he said. "You noticed the pull," she said. "A month ago," he said. "It's been getting worse." She looked at the knife. She looked at him. She put the knife on the grinding wheel and corrected the edge geometry, which took 20 minutes because she did it properly rather than quickly, and handed it back. "No charge," she said. It's 20 minutes, she said. The buckle paid for 20 minutes. He looked at the knife. He tested the edge with his thumb, which was the correct test. He tested it against a piece of leather, which was also correct. He sheathed it. "Thank you," he said. "Come back if it needs anything," she said. "I will," he said. She had stopped being surprised by this. Week 4, a pair of boot clasps, one of which had a bent tongue that wouldn't seat properly. Week 5, a belt knife with a loose handle. The handle had been reattached poorly and was developing movement. Week 6, he came in and stood at the counter and did not put anything down. Mira looked at him. He looked at the counter. "Nothing broken this week," she said. "No," he said. She waited. "I wanted to ask you something," he said. "Ask," she said. "The swords," he said, "when you fixed it. You said the work required the extra work. But you named a price before you knew how much extra work there would be. Yes, she said. So when you said the price was the price, I kept to it, she said. Yes, at a loss. At my calculation of the value of doing the work correctly, she said, which is different from a loss. He looked at her. The steady attention which she had come to recognize as his default. Not passive, active. He was always actually looking at whatever he was looking at. I've been bringing you things that don't need much work, he said. Yes, she said. The buckle needed work. The knife needed 20 minutes, she said, and the boot clasp, less. He was quiet for a moment. Why do you keep fixing things for me? She looked at the forge, at the tools on the wall, at the work waiting on the anvil. She looked at him. Because you come back, she said, and the things you bring need fixing. Those two facts are sufficient. That's the same answer you gave before, he said. It's still accurate, she said. He looked at the counter, then at her, then at the counter again. I was going to ask, he said, if you needed anything fixed. She looked at him. I can do carpentry, he said. Reasonable carpentry. The threshold of your door is uneven. It's been catching on the bottom hinge and pulling the frame out of true. If it keeps going, you'll have a gap in winter. She looked at the door. She had been aware of the threshold. She had been meaning to look at it. You noticed that, she said. I've been coming here for 6 weeks, he said. I notice things. She looked at the door. She looked at him. She went to the storeroom and got the tools he would need and put them on the counter. The threshold, she said, not the hinge. The threshold is the problem. I know, he said. That's what I said. Most people say the hinge, she said. Most people treat the symptom, he said. She went back to her work. He went to the door. He fixed the threshold. It took him an hour. She could hear him working. The sounds of careful work, not rushed, not showing off. When he finished, he put the tools back on the counter and opened and closed the door twice to check it. Good, he said. Good, she said. He looked at the door at her. Same time next week? She looked at the work waiting. At the door, which now closed correctly. At Cal Voss, who has a sword that was better than it had been when it was new. A buckle that was properly gauged. A knife with a corrected edge, and a reason to come back next week. If you have something that needs fixing, she said. I'll find something, he said. She looked at him. That was a joke, he said. Was it, she said. He held her gaze. Partly, he said. She went back to work. He left. She listened to the door, which closed without catching. Week 7. He brought nothing. He came in at the usual time and stood at the counter and said, I wanted to watch you work if that's acceptable. It's a forge, she said. Not a performance. I know, he said. I'm not asking for a performance. She looked at him. He looked at her. He had the quality, she had decided, of someone who meant what he said precisely and did not add to it or subtract from it. When he said he wanted to watch her work, he meant he wanted to watch her work, and when he said it wasn't asking for a performance, he meant it wasn't. Sit there, she said, indicating the stool by the wall. Don't talk while I'm at the anvil. The work requires attention. Understood, he said. He sat. She worked. He watched with the focused attention that was, she had come to understand, simply how he existed in the world. Fully present with whatever he was doing, including watching. It was not uncomfortable. That surprised her because she did not generally find observation comfortable. The forge was her space, and people in it who were not working tended to make her aware of them in a way that pulled from the work. Cal Voss watching was different. He was quiet and still and genuinely watching, and it did not pull from the work so much as add to it, the way having a second lamp in the room added to the light. At noon she set down the hammer and said, Why? He looked up from whatever he had been thinking. Why what? Why watch? He considered the question with the seriousness he gave most things. Because I'm trying to understand something, he said. What? How you know what a thing needs, he said. You look at it and you know. The sword, the buckle, the knife. You picked it up and looked at it, and you knew what was wrong and what it needed. He looked at the anvil, the work in progress. I've been watching for an hour and I can see that you know, but I can't see how you know. Experience, she said. That's not an answer, he said, or it's an incomplete one. She looked at the work on the anvil. You've been using a sword for how long? 15 years, he said. And you can tell within 30 seconds whether a sword is balanced correctly. Yes, he said. How? He was quiet for a moment. I pick it up, he said, and I know. Right, she said. That's the same answer. He looked at her. Something in his face, not quite a smile. The shape of one, briefly. Fair, he said. She went back to work. He watched until the afternoon, and then he said he had somewhere to be. And he left, and the forge felt like it usually felt, which was fine and also slightly different from how it had felt in the morning, which was also fine, and she did not examine too closely. Week 8, he brought a broken hinge. It was from a chest, he said, at the inn where he was staying. The innkeeper had asked if he knew anyone who could fix it. You could have brought it yourself, Mira said. Yes, he said, but you told the innkeeper you knew someone. Yes, he said. You've been here 8 weeks, she said. Yes, he said. Are you staying in Kethvale? He looked at the hinge in her hands. I was passing through, he said, when I came in with the sword. 8 weeks ago, she said. Yes. She looked at the hinge. The pin is bent, she said. The plate is fine. I can replace the pin. How much? For a hinge pin. She looked at him. Nothing. Myra, it's a hinge pin, she said. It takes 10 minutes. He looked at her with the steady attention. You keep fixing things for me. You keep bringing things, she said. I stopped. He started again with the precision of someone who wanted to say something accurately. The innkeeper's hinge could have waited, he said. I chose to bring it here. I know, she said. I wanted to come here, he said. The hinge was a reason. She replaced the pin. She handed him the hinge. She looked at him. Kale, she said. Mira, he said. The sword, she said, when you brought it in. You said it had been abused. Yes, he said. What were you using it for? He was quiet for a moment. Prying, he said. I needed to open something and I didn't have the right tool. A sword is not a pry bar, she said. I know that now, he said. You knew it then, she said. He held her gaze. Yes, he said. I did. So you used the wrong tool, she said. Yes. And you brought it to be fixed. Yes. She looked at the hinge pin in his hand. And the buckle, she said. You repaired it yourself with wire in a field. Yes. Why? Because I needed it to work, he said. And wire was what I had. It was the wrong solution, she said. It was the available solution, he said. I knew it would fail eventually. And you brought it to be fixed properly, she said. Yes. She looked at him. He looked at her. The forge was warm, and the afternoon light was coming through the high window at the angle it came at this time of year, and the tools were on the wall and the work was on the anvil, and Kale Voss was standing on her threshold holding a hinge pin. What are you actually doing here? She said. He was quiet for a long moment. The quiet of someone who had been asked the right question and was deciding how accurately to answer it. I came in with a broken sword, he said. You fixed it better than it had been. You didn't charge me more than you said you would. You told me to come back. He looked at the hinge pin. So I came back. With a broken buckle, she said. Yes. And a knife that pulled left. Yes. And boot clasps and a belt handle and a threshold and now a hinge pin. Yes, he said. And nothing once, she said, just to watch. He held her gaze. Yes. She looked at the anvil, at the work waiting, at the door that no longer caught. The inn, she said. Are you staying? I haven't decided, he said. You've been here 8 weeks. I know, he said. I've been finding reasons to stay. He looked at the hinge pin. Some of them are better reasons than others. She looked at him. Mira, he said. Kale, she said. The threshold, he said. You knew it was the problem, not the hinge. Yes, she said. I knew that too, he said, when I offered to fix it. I said the threshold and not the hinge because I wanted you to know that I saw it correctly. I noticed, she said. I know you noticed, he said. You said most people say the hinge. Most people treat the symptom, she said. You said. Yes, he said. He looked at the tools on the wall. I've been bringing you symptoms, he said. Things that needed fixing. Some of them genuinely needed fixing. Some of them, he stopped. Some of them were reasons to come back. She held the hinge pin. She looked at him. How many? She said. The buckle was real, he said. The knife was real. The boot clasp was real. He paused. The belt handle was not as broken as I said it was. She had thought so at the time. The handle had been loose, technically, but not in a way that required immediate attention. She had fixed it because it was there and fixable. And the hinge pin, she said. The innkeeper's chest closes fine, he said. I noticed the hinge was bent. I could have straightened it myself. But you brought it here, she said. Yes, he said. She was quiet. The forge was warm. The light was good. What are you actually trying to fix, she said. He looked at her steadily. Nothing that's broken, he said. She looked at him. At the hinge pin, at the door, the threshold, she said. That genuinely needed fixing. Yes, he said, that was real. And you fixed it, she said. Yes, without being asked, she said. You came in and said what the actual problem was and fixed it. Yes, he said. She handed him back the hinge pin. She turned and picked up the hammer and looked at the work on the anvil, which was a set of fittings for a wagon axle, and was waiting. Tomorrow, she said, I have a commission due. Come at noon, not in the morning. He was quiet for a moment. Come for what? Come at noon, she said, and we'll find out. She heard him leave. She heard the door, which closed properly, which it hadn't before he fixed the threshold. She put the hammer to the metal and felt the work move under her hands and thought about things that weren't broken and what it meant to fix them anyway. She thought, he knew the threshold was the problem and not the hinge. She thought, most people treat the symptom. She thought, I fixed a sword better than I was paid to and told him to come back. She thought, those are the same thing. She went back to work. He came at noon. She had finished the axle fittings and cleaned the forge and was heating metal for the next commission, which was an order of hooks for the dock. It was uncomplicated work that did not require full attention, which meant she could talk while doing it. He came in and stood at the counter. He did not put anything down. Nothing broken, she said. No, he said. Good, she said. She worked on the hooks. He watched. After a while, she said, 15 years with a sword. Yes, he said. Before that? Before that I was 12, he said. Why a sword? He thought about it. My father, he said. He was a border guard. He thought it was a practical skill. He looked at the hooks taking shape under her hands. He was right. It's been practical. But you've been passing through, she said. Yes, for 15 years. He was quiet. There wasn't a reason to stop, he said. Until recently. What's the reason recently, she said. He looked at her. A forge, he said. That fixes things correctly. A blacksmith who told me to come back. He paused. An accurate diagnosis of the actual problem and not the symptom. She looked at the hook in her hands. She turned it, checked the curve, returned it to the coals. The sword, she said. It needed retempered. You said. What you were using it for, prying, had distressed the metal, she said. The fracture was a symptom. The problem was the use. I know that now, he said. But you still needed the sword, she said. Yes, he said. Fixed, she said. Correctly, for the actual work. Yes, he said. She looked at the coals, at the hook heating in them, at the tools on the wall. Kale, she said. Mira, he said. The commission tomorrow, she said. It's a gate hinge, large. The manor on the north road. It requires someone to hold the brace while I work the pin. I can hold a brace, he said. At dawn, she said. I'll be there, he said. She pulled the hook from the coals and worked it. He watched. She finished the hook and set it aside and looked at him. The inn, she said. Yes, it has a room by the month, she said, which is cheaper than by the week. He looked at her steadily. It does, he said. If a person were staying for a month, she said, it would make more sense to take the monthly rate. Yes, he said, it would. Whether or not they had decided, she said. He was very still. Whether or not, he said. She went back to the hooks. The gate hinge is at dawn, she said. Don't be late. I won't, he said. She heard him leave. She heard the door. She thought, he came in with a broken sword and I fixed it better than I was paid to. She thought, he came back. She thought, the threshold was the actual problem. She thought, some things don't need to be broken to need attention. She put the hammer to the hook and felt the work come right under her hands and let that be enough for today. Tomorrow there was a gate hinge, which was real, and someone to hold the brace, which was also real. And the morning after that and the one after that, which were not yet anything but were becoming something. The way metal became something when you applied the right amount of heat and the right amount of attention. She knew how to do that. The gate hinge took most of the morning. It was a large commission. The kind of hinge that required the brace to be held at a specific angle for a specific duration while she worked the pin, which was not possible alone without the work going cold. She had been putting it off for 2 weeks because of this. Cale arrived before dawn. He did not arrive early to demonstrate enthusiasm. He arrived early because she had said dawn and he had calculated the travel time from the inn and left accordingly. She knew this because he arrived with 7 minutes to spare, not 20. She showed him the brace angle. He held it. She worked. He was good to work with. He did not shift when he should be still. And he did not ask questions at the wrong moment. And when she said hold, he held. And when she said ease, he eased. He had the quality of someone who understood that the work was the priority, and his role in it was to serve the work rather than to be seen serving the work. After the first pin was set, she said, "You've done this before." "Held a brace?" he said. "No, but I've held things at specific angles for specific durations in other contexts." "Military," she said. "Yes," he said. She moved to the second pin. "Hold." He held. The second pin seated cleanly. She stepped back and assessed the work. The hinge was level. The pin moved smoothly. The angle was correct for the gate weight, which she had calculated from the gate's construction. "Good," she said. He released the brace and flexed his hands, which had been gripping hard for 20 minutes. She noted this without commenting on it. "The gate itself," he said, looking at it. "The bottom rail is warped." She looked at the bottom rail. He was correct. "That's not my commission," she said. "I know," he said. "I'm noting it." "The manor owner should know," she said. "I'll tell him," Cale said. She looked at him. "When did you become the person who tells manor owners about their warped gate rails?" "Just now," he said. It seemed like useful information. She cleaned the tools. He helped without being asked, which was efficient, and also something she noted. When the tools were clean, she packed them, and they walked back to Kethvale in the early morning. "How long have you been here?" she said. "In Kethvale." 8 weeks, he said. 9 tomorrow. "Where were you before?" "South," he said, "and before that, east. I've been moving along the border road for 3 years. He walked for a moment. "Before that, I was assigned to a garrison, fixed post. I left when the garrisons was decommissioned." "And since then, passing through," she said. "Yes. 3 years is a long time to pass through," she said. "Yes," he said, "it is." She looked at the road. At the morning light on the valley, which was where Kethvale sat, a border valley, human and orc both. The same valley she had grown up in. The same road her father had walked to the same forge her grandfather had built. "My family has had the forge here for 3 generations," she said. "I know," he said. Corval mentioned it. "Corval talks," she said. "He does," Cale agreed. "He also said you're the best metalsmith in 4 valleys, and that the last person who tried to undercut your prices had to go to the city to get their work done and paid twice as much." "That story is somewhat exaggerated," she said.
"Which part?"
"It was 3 valleys," she said. He looked at her, the shape of a smile, brief. "I've been in a lot of forges," he said, "in 3 years on the border road. You're the first one who fixed a broken sword better than it was before it was broken." "The work required it," she said. "Yes," he said, "but most smiths do the work that was paid for and not more." "I do the work that needs doing," she said. "That's different." "It is," he said. "It's considerably different." They walked. The morning was good, clear and cool. The valley spread around them, the forge visible ahead where the road curved. "Mira," he said. "Kaelshi's, the inn," he said. "I spoke to the innkeeper this morning." "And?" "The monthly rate," he said. "I took it." She kept walking. She did not look at him. She looked at the road and the forge at the end of it, and the morning light on the valley that her family had been in for 3 generations. "Good," she said. "Yes," he said. They walked the rest of the way in the particular quiet of 2 people who have said something and are letting it be said. The weeks after that settled into a shape neither of them had planned and neither of them interrupted. He came to the forge on Thursdays, which had been the pattern. Sometimes he brought things, genuinely broken things, for the most part, because he had apparently decided that manufactured reasons were less interesting than honest ones. Sometimes he came without things and watched her work or helped when help was useful, or sat on the stool and read, which she had not expected but which she found she did not object to. He was useful around the forge in ways that were not his primary skills. He had an eye for what needed doing and the discipline to do it without being asked, which was the rarer quality of the two. He swept without being asked. He kept the coal stacked correctly. He noticed when the water bucket was low and filled it. "You're doing chores," she said one afternoon. "They need doing," he said. "That's my line," she said. He looked at her. "I know," he said. It seemed applicable. She went back to work. She thought about the sword, which she had fixed better than it was new because the work required it. She thought about the man who kept coming back. She thought about the threshold, which had been the actual problem. She thought, things that need doing get done. That was the principle. She had held to it her whole working life. She thought, he understood that principle before she told him. She thought, that was not nothing. "Cale," she said. "Yes," he said. "The commission next week," she said. "The mill owner wants new fittings for the water wheel mechanism. The work is straightforward, but it takes 2 pairs of hands." "I'll be here," he said. "Monday," she said. "Not Thursday. Monday," he said. She looked at the work in her hands. "And Thursday," she said. "If you have something that needs fixing." "I'll find something," he said. "Not manufactured," she said. "No," he said. "Real." She looked at him. He looked at her. The forge was warm. The afternoon light was at the angle it came at this time of year. "There's a knife I've been meaning to sharpen," he said. "A good one. It doesn't pull left, but it could be sharper." "A knife that doesn't need fixing," she said. "A knife that could be better," he said. She held his gaze. "Thursday," she said. "Thursday," he said. He brought the knife on Thursday. She sharpened it to the geometry she would have chosen, which was slightly different from what it had been and considerably more efficient for the kind of use it showed evidence of. She handed it back. He tested it. He tested it against leather, against paper, against the particular test she had seen him use for the sword, the short arc, the specific wrist movement that told an experienced user exactly what they needed to know. "Better," he said. "Yes," she said. "How much?" She looked at the knife, at him. "Same as the first time," she said. He looked at her. "Nothing," he said. "Nothing," she said. "Why?" "Because some things don't need to be broken to deserve attention," she said. "And because I said nothing the first time and I keep to what I say." He was quiet for a moment. Then Mira, "Cale, I've been here 10 weeks, he said. "Yes," she said. "I came in with a broken sword." "Yes," she said. "And I keep coming back," he said. "Yes," she said. "And you keep fixing things," he said. "Yes," she said. "Even when they don't need fixing," he said. She looked at him. He looked at her. The forge between them, warm and certain, the tools on the wall, the work that was always waiting. "Some things," she said, "don't need to be broken to be worth the work." He was still for a moment. "Is that?" he started. "It's what I said," she said. "I keep to what I say." He looked at the knife in his hand. At the forge. At her, Thursday, he said. "Every week." "Every week," she said. "If you have something." "I'll have something," he said. "Real," she said. "Real," he said. He held her gaze. The gate hinge was real. "Yes," she said. "It was." "And the threshold." "Yes." "And the sword," he said. "That was real." "Yes," she said. "That was real. Everything after was." He paused. "Some of it was real." "I know," she said. "I could tell the difference." "And you fixed it anyway," he said. "Yes," she said. "Because it was there and I could." He looked at her for a long moment, the steady attention. The thing underneath it that had been building for 10 weeks and was now fully present, no longer waiting. "Some things don't need to be broken," he said. "No," she said. "They don't." Outside, Kethvale was doing its afternoon. Inside, the forge was warm, and the tools were on the wall and the work was waiting. And Cale Voss was standing at the counter of the forge his grandfather had built, looking at a blacksmith who fixed things correctly and kept to what she said. He set the knife on the counter. He put his hand beside it, open, not demanding, not performing, just there. She looked at his hand. At the calluses that were in the right places for 15 years of a sword. At the scar at his jaw that had healed wrong, which she had been told had happened in a fight which she believed. And at the other scars smaller, on his hands which she had been told were from field work, which she also believed. She put her hand beside his on the counter. Her hand, large and scarred from a forge. From 3 generations of forge work, from heat and iron and the specific knowledge of metal under her hands. Different hands, same counter. Monday, she said, the water wheel fittings. I'll be here, he said. And Thursday, she said. And Thursday, he said. With something real, she said. With something real, he said. The forge was warm. The work was waiting. The threshold closed correctly behind him when he left, the way it had since he fixed it, the way it would continue to, because he had found the actual problem and corrected it rather than the symptom. That was the kind of person he was. She had known it since the sword. She went back to work.